This spring, against all odds, I was fortunate enough to fish again in Sweden. I count my blessings as events last March spiraled out of control so fast. This is a story about the fish that nearly killed us. It's early in the morning, so we do want to pay attention, especially on these country roads. I am back in business, and some of you may know the details, the nitty-gritty of the incident, the accident that happened to me, but a lot of other guys really wanted me to do a bit more of an in-depth video about what happened to me and how the accident actually happened and the consequences of that accident. So let's dive into the details of what happened on the 2nd of March. Now, before we start, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who supported me after the accident. I'm not gonna name them all in this video, the list is just simply too long, but I wanted to let you guys know it is still highly appreciated. I was out casting in spring. Spring usually is the time where I tend to make a lot of content, focus on testing products for Savage Gear, for Soda, and you know, spring season in the Netherlands, even though the past 2 years it has been kinda slow compared to other years, I still absolutely love it. I always look forward to that casting on the shallows or when the fish start migrating towards the drop-off. So Savage Gear launched a new big bait campaign, and I had a couple of the new 32 centimeter roach brims. I spent a couple days casting, really like hardcore casting with these heavy baits, trying to get a pre-smaller, a heavy pre-smaller. I've been casting for 2 days and had like two bites in 1 day. I'm used to grinding it out, but I gotta say it's pretty rough when at the end of the day you get a hit and the only thing you get is a brand new 32 centimeter lifer roach being torn to pieces from head to tail. And then repeating that same thing the day after. But on the 2nd of March, Swenn and I went out. First we were like a bit hesitant, where should we go? We had some plans of going to Haringvliet and locations like that. But both our schedules, I think it did not allow us to travel that far. So we were like, yeah, let's just seek something closer by and let's just see how it goes. So do some casting on the shallows. But it was a good sunny day, clear skies, temperature was okay, did some casting. Had some followers, wasn't great, and then we dusted off the trolling gear. Started out pretty good, caught a good fish, upper 90 I think. Had a little lunch, Swenn prepared some hamburgers, and yeah, then I set out to find some fish. We made a couple laps on the spot where there's a lot of bait fish, didn't find anything, and then we're like, yeah, what do we have to lose? We're just gonna scout the area. So we just went trolling around the lake a little and see if the fish were like on other spots that were a bit more shallow. So we trolled out, trolled over several deep parts and also a part of the shipping lane. And out of nothing we found a big school of bait fish. I missed the fish, backed my 32 centimeter roach, put it back out. I had the water wolf cameras running, by the way, but you will see that later. And then just a couple of minutes later, I hooked into a gigantic fish. The fish that will turn out later on, fish that nearly killed us. That fish turned out to be 1.19 meters, but a whopping 15 kilo. It was fat as hell. So we did the normal routine. We landed the fish, maneuvered the boat to a position where we could take some photos and we were safe. And already in the back of my eye, I saw a big freight ship coming in. So I maneuvered the boat towards the red markers of the shipping lane. I couldn't sit on the right markers of the shipping lane because there are some gnarly rocks out there. It's not really an option to park your boat out there. So we went to the red side of the shipping lane on the outside. And once we positioned the boat, my observation and that of Svenn's was we're in the safer goods. This shouldn't be an issue. We're not hindering the freight ship. So we can continue taking photos of this stunning fish. We did so. And then the rods casted a shadow on top of the fish. So Swenn was like, yeah, I think we should put the rods down. So we're starting putting the rods down. And that 15 kilo pike was like in the net. I put the fish back in, that 15 kilo pike, I put it back into the net. Yeah. And then Swenn heard something. looked to the side, and then like 15 meters out or something like that, a big freight ship just came in. I don't know what speed it was running, but it's my estimation would be like 40 kilometers or something like that. It was unloaded. And it just yeah, and then the weird thing is it happens fast but slow at the same time, if you get what I'm saying. I can replay those full like 2.5, 3 seconds before between when we realized it and when the impact came. But it went really fast. Like you don't have any time to respond at all. But there's like 1,000 things that go through your head. Sven jumped towards the back. He was sitting in the back trying to start up the engine. But it's my boat. So I was like, I need to go to the back and help him out and start the engine. Even though starting an engine, you know, you get the beeping sound and then it starts to fire up. It usually takes like 2 seconds anyway. So Sven was in the back. It didn't go fast enough. And then the only thing I saw when I was standing in the middle of the boat was the tip of the freight ship coming in like this, 2 anchors on the side. I can recall it very specifically. And then the tip, because it's in a specific angle, so to speak, the tip of the freight ship would come over the boat first and then hit the boat. So it would hit me first and then it would hit the boat. I was standing there, I was trying to jump a bit towards the side. That's the only thing I can recall. And the next thing I knew was the big impact, and I landed underneath the boat. I realized that because I hit my head, one of my vertebrae, against the bottom of the freight ship. I knew, that's a steep corner. I knew instantly that I was in a really gnarly situation. Like I really had to. This was like do or die. Like for a brief second, I knew I was fucked when I was underneath it. Like for a moment, I really thought that I would die. Then the survival instinct kicked in, and I can recall people asking me how I knew that I wanted to swim downwards, where a lot of people would have the instinct to try to get sideways and up. But I knew that from guys in my boat who had experiences like this as operating a big ship like this. Guys driving these big freight ships and hitting sailing boats and stuff like that. Often when something like this gets hit, like a fishing boat or a sailing ship, often that vessel gets pushed under all the way towards the back. And that made me realize as well, like in the back there's a big prop. And I'm not talking like a Suzuki 115 horsepower prop. No, something a lot bigger. So the only thing that came into my mind is I need to get away from the prop as fast as possible. And the only way I can do it is just swim downwards and as hard and as fast as possible. At the time I didn't know my leg was broken. I didn't feel anything, I didn't have any pain. The only thing I felt was the urge to survive. So my instinct was just to swim down and as fast as possible. Somehow my Sorel winter boots just popped off. What later turned out, the cause was that I removed the laces a while back, because I'm just standing in the boat and I just want to have those really easy slip-ons. I'm not walking any distances with it, and the laces were coming off all the time, so I need to retie them, or otherwise I would trip over them. So I just removed the laces. That saved me. Also not wearing a life jacket saved me, but I got hit. Start swimming like a maniac, and I just started swimming until I couldn't swim anymore. Like keep going. On that particular area where I got hit, it was like 6 meters deep. I just kept swimming until I eventually couldn't do anymore. I noticed that my air was starting to get really on a low. I also realized that the noise was decreasing. And I had a sense that it was starting to get a bit more lighter, like the shadow that the ship would cast was becoming less. So for me it was, well, the biggest fear was that hit from the prop could come any moment. So I just tried to get as far away and as fast as possible. Swam upwards, starting to slightly panic because my oxygen was low, and in my mind it was like super deep. So I was like, oh, I hope I can make it back up. Which, from a rational standpoint, is just not realistic. But I can remember that was kind of a fear in the back of my mind. Came up, super relieved that I made it. I'm laughing because this is actually a silly part that I just realized a while back. Came up, and I was really relieved that Swenn was sitting in a boat and was looking quite okay. And then all the urge and sense of this is a really bad situation just, I don't know, I relaxed a little, started swimming towards the boat. And then once I got towards the boat, which was like, I don't know, 50 meters away or something, Swenn drove the boat towards me and I swam towards the boat. And I was just sitting on the edge of the boat like this and talking to Swenn like, oh man, geez, what the fuck just happened? And Swenn was like, we were chatting for like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something like that. Swenn just had the mental awareness of like, hey, you should get on the boat, man, because it's pretty cold. I'm like, and still, it didn't cross my mind, but yeah, the water was like 5 degrees. And I was just strolling around like I was swimming in a swimming pool on a hot summer day. Swam towards the back of the boat, climbed into the boat, and then once I was in the boat, I was like, my leg starts to feel a bit, weak, soft. And then I looked at my leg, and then my entire shin bone was sticking out of my leg. And then I was like, Swenn, I think my leg isn't good. And then Swenn went into full professional fireman mode. He works at the fire department, so he knows his shit. Starting to grab a rope and a knife to make a tourniquet, but we noticed that the bleeding was okay. And then he just instantly called all the emergency services that we needed. Called in a trauma doctor because I needed antibiotics straight away. He also, which was a true lifesaver, instructed that the fire department needed to come and put a big, I don't know how you call it, like a beam or a ramp, because we're parked against the stones, but my leg is messed up. And there are like reeds, stones, different kind of elevation, and then an upwards hill. Good luck getting out of that without a ramp. So and we're just waiting there for, it felt like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that. In the meantime, we were like, yeah, let's just prep the boat and get some shit out of the way, clear up some of the lures so the emergency services doesn't get stuck in it. We're like both really relaxed and calm. To be honest, I never felt any pain, and nor I ever felt any cold when I'm out on the boat. Adrenaline is really a magnificent thing. And then out of nothing, the ambulance came, another ambulance came, the fire department came, police cars came, a helicopter came in, a big rip from the rescue services came in. Suddenly it felt like there was some big invasion going on, like the World War III just started. It just was all hands on deck. And then they came up to me, they started talking to me, and then they shot me up with a good dose of ketamine and just fell away. Got lifted on a brancard, on a stretcher, And due to the ketamine, it felt like I was floating on a magic carpet and just went off the boat, onto the shore, into the ambulance, shot me up with another shot of ketamine, which was, I think, the most horrendous part of the whole accident, I guess, because to my liking, it was a little too much. Got into the hospital, no internal bleeding or any damages, because the ship would have hit me on the body part and knocked me out like unconsciously. I wouldn't have been here talking and recording this video. Swenn already mentioned, like, when he saw me going overboard, the first thing that crossed his mind was, this is it. We need to get a diving team to recover the remains. Luckily that wasn't the case, and luckily also Sven managed to pull himself back into the boat. He got knocked back, was leaning over the edge with his upper body, grabbed something to hold on, and pulled himself inside the boat again. Which was a true lifesaver, because we were both in the water with 5 degrees water temperature. We couldn't have called the emergency services, and then hypothermia would probably have kicked in. But then again, in the hospital, I got taken care of really well. They explained to me that there were a couple of scenarios. The worst case scenario would be that I would wake up after the surgery, and then my leg will be in some kind of a cage, and then I would have to look at a process of recovering for 7 to 8 months, something like that, with a lot of complications of walking again, etc. But luckily I woke up. First thing I did when I woke up was like, first I needed to settle, where am I? Oh yeah, the accident happened. I'm in the hospital. And the first thing I did was just look underneath the sheets. I'm like, yes, my leg is not in a cage. It's just properly wrapped up. On Saturday, the accident happened on Thursday. On Saturday, the physiotherapist was already standing next to my bed, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, we're gonna walk today with a walking rack. And they explained to me straight away that the best way to get back on your feet is to start walking as soon as possible, which felt a bit off because my leg was in shatters. But yeah, walking and exercising and making sure that you get the blood flowing in your leg, and because the more blood flows in your leg, the better the bone recovers. Now I'm back on my feet. I departed for Sweden on the 23rd of April, so like a month later than I expected it to go. And yeah, it was like a bit difficult and unstable in the beginning, but I was fishing already 2.5 weeks after the incident happened. I jumped on board with Sven, did the first fishing session out there. People at the boat ramp were asking me like, are you not like scared or anything? No, I'm not. I just have a renewed respect for these big freight ships. I was already looking over my shoulder a lot. That's also why it's so silly that it happened to me. I think we checked in all directions. I think we checked twice, 3 times, and we assumed that we were safe. If you look at the print screen, or if you look at the screenshot that I made from this little short video that I did, I was filming the fish, lifted my phone upwards, and in the back, the top right corner, you can see the ship approaching. And when I saw that part, I was like, how the hell did this thing hit us? Because it's on this photo, it's not on course as well. I still don't understand it. From what I understood, inside the ship they didn't notice us as well, but it wasn't because there was a blind spot. But I also don't want to point any fingers. No matter the outcome, I mean, there's no intent from any side, not from the guys operating that big ship at all. I mean, I don't believe they really want to hit a fisherman. Why would they? I think they feel bummed out about the situation just as much as I do, even though I'm the one with the broken leg and all the consequences. Yeah, I don't hold any grudge against them at all. I mean, I think even if I was on the shallows for like 600 meters out of the shipping lane, I should have paid attention a bit more than I did. And yeah, you have a big fish, you get distracted. And yeah, we moved out of the way to the best of our knowledge. It couldn't have been that we drifted off spot log, because then the wind would have blown us off our position and out of the way of the big ship. So I don't know what happened. I still haven't heard an update. Hopefully I will get one soon. Me, Sven, and the guys operating the ship are fortunate that no long-lasting damage has been occurred. My leg will fully recover. The doctors did a great job. I managed to get myself out of a really tricky and dangerous situation. That makes me feel stronger as well. And I'm just happy that we made it out and we are a lot wiser. And that's also the reason why I want to share this story. I want to share this story with you guys. So once you get out on the water and you see these big ships and you happen to be in a spot where they are passing by, hopefully this story will inspire people to pay a little more attention as well. Now I'm back in Sweden. I've been fishing for 3 weeks. Goes quite well. Standing on my leg goes well, but also the walking goes better and better. And even went to Awakenings, which was good. Tiring as well. This morning I had to disinfect some scissors and actually cut and pull out the last remaining stitches myself, which is a small victory on its own. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Thanks to everyone who supported me through these hard times. All those messages, I know I didn't reply nearly, not like 10% of them, I guess. It was overwhelming, like literally thousands and thousands of people showed their support to me from some of the most unexpected places. Thank you so much. It means the world. Stay safe out there. I'll try to do my best as well. And I will catch you guys